Okay, before we take any measurements, let's look at what's happened to the valley already. We were in the spring sapped hollow before. What are we standing in now? A V-shaped valley. Not a very deep V-shaped valley as yet. You could probably walk to the top of that in a few, half a minute, or a run for half a minute. But it's not a very deep valley as yet. But it is a V-shaped valley. So what process is taking place to cause that? Vertical erosion. And how's that happening? What's happening to cause the V shape? Yeah, water with what? What's inside the stream to help? Well, maybe, or some sort of load that it's carrying. As we look at this stream now, we're not going to see anything moving. It's a very small little dribble that is probably just about big enough, we'll see, to make our first statistical measurements. But we'll come back to that in a minute. Look downstream. What manifestly obviously happens to this valley as we walk downstream? It gets very steep, as in terms of the gradient we're going to walk down. What about the valley sides? Yeah, it meanders, good. Would you know what we call those sort of hills coming in either side? Yeah, the spurs. And I wouldn't actually call them as a meander yet, I just call them bends, because there's a difference between really what we would call a free meander and a bending river this high up in the hills. But you've certainly got these spurs. Do you know a word, did you say another word before that? Interlocking spurs. So you've got your interlocking spurs, a pretty steep gradient down, and what else happens to the valley? Here it's a very shallow, but it gets incredibly deeper. Yeah, I think it's either as steep as it is, but that is much, much deeper. So if this is caused by erosion here, we can assume there's been a much, much more erosion down there. Now, on the principle that it's better to do things while you can weather-wise, assuming the worst, I would like us to draw a field sketch now, rather than assuming it's going to stay dry, of a view of a V-shaped valley. Now, you've had